Hola y buenos días. Yo soy el señor Morris. Soy el maestro de español. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Today we'll start off with a spelling and reading activity, and then review the meals that we eat every day before we start to look at some of the food groups that supply us with proper nutrition. But let's go ahead and get started, as we always do, with our opening song. Canten conmigo. Hola, buenos días. ¿Cómo están ustedes? ¿Cómo se sienten? Yo me siento bien. Yeah, muy bien cantado. Well, I tell you what, let's go ahead and start by reviewing the alphabet with this video. Go ahead and get your paper and something to write with ready for a dictation activity after you see the video. Ahora, pongan atención y repitan todos.
A, B, C, Ch, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, E, M, N, N, O, P, Q, R, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
Wow. Muy bien. Ahora todos saquen papel y lápiz o pluma para escribir estas letras. Okay, you guys ready? I'm going to go through them pretty fast, so get ready. Here we go. C. C. Did you write down la? C. Okay, how about this one? O. O. And that one should be easy. La O. M. 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 De Mexico, Mexico. M. I. I. And now we've heard this one enough that you shouldn't get confused. La I is la I. Okay. D. D. Dos. D. Did you write down? D. And finally, A. A. First letter A. A. Now if you put all of those letters together, you will get... Who can read this word? Can you read it? Comida. Comida. That's right. Let's try another one. Okay? Se. Se. Okay, again, la. Se. E. 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 La E. Okay? N de nueve. N. La N. And A. A. Of course, the A. And put all of those together, and what do you get? C, E, N, A. Can you read that word? Cena. Yeah, that's right. Cena. Now, these were some of the things that we started to talk about last class. Let's go ahead now and review what we were talking about. Do you remember that we started with this question? ¿Tienes hambre? ¿Tienes hambre? And we said that literally means, do you have hunger? Do you have hunger? You know, are you hungry? And we said that there are two ways to answer this question. You can say, sí, tengo hambre. Yes, I have hunger. Or, if you're not so hungry, you can say, no, no tengo hambre. No, I don't have hunger. Okay? Now, teachers, maybe you can have the students ask each other, or you can ask the students this question and see how they answer. Yeah, it's a chance to kind of go over the vocabulary and some of the things that we're working on. Here's another question that we talked about. ¿Cuántas veces comes al día? ¿Cuántas veces comes al día? And we counted up and said that in many Spanish-speaking countries, these are the meals that they eat. We said, primero comemos el desayuno. Primero comemos el desayuno. And we said that this word down here, this desayuno, is like breakfast. Yeah, so that's the first meal of the day. Segundo, comemos el almuerzo. El almuerzo. And this comes after breakfast, but it's before what we would generally call lunch, the midday meal. Tercero, comemos la comida. La comida. Yeah. And this is a midday meal. The sun is high in the sky. The whole family gets together. And la comida might be what we would call lunch. Some people might call it supper. Yeah, even though it's eaten in the middle of the day, it's called supper. And it's a big meal. La comida. And then, cuarto, comemos la merienda. Cuarto, comemos la merienda. And la merienda was kind of like a snack. Maybe when you guys get home from school in the afternoons, you'll have a merienda, a light snack, before you do your homework or go out to play outside or practice your piano or whatever. You might have a merienda or a snack in the afternoon. And then, quinto, comemos la cena. Quinto, comemos la cena. And la cena is probably what we would call like dinner. Okay, it's a big meal with a lot of different foods. It's not just like a snack. It is eaten at nighttime. Yeah, so that is la cena. We said quinto, fifth, comemos la cena. Well, I tell you what, now that we know the names of the meals that we eat, we need to know what to eat. Now, I'm sure as you all know, there are certain foods that we should try to eat every day to maintain our health. Okay? We put these foods into different groups that we call in Spanish alimentos importantes. Alimentos importantes. Okay, and you can see this word over here. Importantes, it's a cognate, right? Importantes. For what? It's almost like what word in English? Important, right. Any guesses on what alimentos are? Well, I'll tell you what, they're foods. Okay, so alimentos importantes are foods important. Remember, reverse the noun and adjective in Spanish, important foods. Hey, so what are the important food groups? Do you already know them in English? Have you talked about these maybe in some of your classes? What types of foods we should eat? ¿Ya? Pues estos son los alimentos importantes en español. You'll probably want to get out your Spanish notebooks to jot these down as we go through them. Okay? So the first one we're going to talk about is this. These are called frutas. Frutas. Yeah, and you can see here an orange, and a banana, a lime. You got an apple right there. Yeah, and those are frutas. That's a cognate, so that makes it pretty easy. Go ahead and get that into your notebook. Okay? Now, another one is, verduras. Go ahead and get this written down into your notebooks, okay? Verduras. Verduras, here we have a potato and a carrot and lettuce. What are verduras? What would you call those in English? Yeah, vegetables. All right. Another important food group is pan y cereal. Pan y cereal. Go ahead and write that down. Now I'm going to tell you this here is pan. Pan is what we call bread, right? Pan is bread. And cereal, well, that's a cognate. Cereal. And it could be like cereal that you eat in the morning, or it could be cereals that are sometimes called grains, like wheat and things like that. Okay? Pan y cereal, that would be maybe what we would call like the starches. And it would include things like crackers, tortillas, bread, grains, whole cereals, things like that. Okay? That is pan y cereal. Another group is, here it is, carne y frijoles. Carne y frijoles. Now, let's see this big steak here. That is carne. Carne is meat. Okay, like fish, chicken, all of those are meat. Y frijoles are these down here. Beans. So carne y frijoles, meat and beans, that's what they call the group. The whole group actually supplies us with proteins. Proteins. And you can see that peanuts are in this group and eggs are in this group. Okay? So this is the carne y frijoles. Go ahead and make sure that you have that in your notes. Okay? Now, another group is productos lácteos. Productos lácteos. Okay? And you can see here this is leche. And what are they pouring? Milk. That's right. And what is this? Cheese. So milk and cheese. Do you remember when we were talking about the planets and we said that the Milky Way was called La Via Láctea? Milky Way? Láctea? Well, here again we see this word lacteo, right? Which is related to milk. And remember I said lactic acid was, or lactic sugars were milk sugars, right? Okay. Well, productos lácteos are the milk products. Yeah, cheese, milk, ice cream, things like that. Well, I tell you what, please review all of that again with this video. Presten atención y repitan todos. Las comidas. Hay 5 comidas. La primera comida se llama el desayuno. La segunda comida se llama el almuerzo. La tercera comida se llama la comida. La cuarta comida se llama la merienda. La quinta comida se llama la cena. Alimentos importantes. Hay 5 grupos de alimentos importantes. Frutas, verduras, pan y cereal, carne y frijoles, productos lácteos. Boy, you don't want to get your hand in the way of that big mouth. It might just chew you up. Muy bien. Let's go ahead and look at our activity sheet for today. It's called Alimentos Importantes. Yeah, just what we've been talking about here. Go ahead and start off, of course, by putting your name up at the top. I'm going to put my name up at the top. Roberto. Me llamo Roberto. Now, the directions say, classify the food in each picture by writing the name of the group it belongs to. So we're going to talk about those different groups. Right down here you can see in the key we've got the groups listed. We talked about frutas. We talked about verduras. We talked about pan y cereal. We talked about carne y frijoles. And we also talked about productos lácteos. So those are the groups that we're going to put everything into here. Let's go back up here to the top. And let's see. This one has a potato and a carrot and some lettuce in it. Yeah. What group is that going to be? What group are all of those from? Okay. Well, they're from the verduras. Verduras. So you can write that down there. Now in this case, I'm not going to recommend that you scratch through because there may be more from each group than just one. How about this one? Leche. Do you remember what that was from? I'll give you a hint. Milky Way. Yeah, this is from the productos lácteos. Productos lácteos. Okay, now don't forget that accent when you're writing that. Now, there are probably some foods in here that we haven't named yet in Spanish. Okay? So if you want to, go ahead and take your Spanish-English dictionary and see if you can find out the names of some of these foods on here. Maybe you can even look up and find the name of your favorite food in Spanish. Yeah, that way when you travel to a Spanish-speaking country, at least you'll be able to name your favorite food and maybe even get it to eat. Hey. Today, we reviewed the meals that people eat in Spanish-speaking countries and talked about the food groups that are important for proper nutrition. Now, next class, we'll start to look at some of the individual foods and try to determine which food group they belong in. Kind of like what I was telling you to do today on the activity sheet, look up some of those food names. Yeah, we're going to do that and talk about some of the individual food names next time. Pero saben que ya es hora de despedirnos. It's time to say goodbye. For our goodbye song today, let's sing, how about Cielito Lindo? Yeah, let's see how I do on this one today. What do you say? Guys, help me out. Canten conmigo. De la Sierra Morena, cielito lindo, vienen bajando un par de ojitos negros, cielito lindo de contrabando. Ay, 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 canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo, los corazones. Good job today, guys. I've got a question for you. ¿Tienes hambre? ¿Tienes hambre? Yo sí tengo hambre. So I'm going to go and see about getting some to eat. Until our next class, adiós y hasta luego.